Our new topic is security groups, or in other words, as I told you, security groups are nothing but the firewalls. So what is a security group? Security group is a virtual firewall to control the incoming and outgoing traffic of EC2 instance. So it is a virtual firewall and it is used to control the incoming and outgoing traffic of EC2 instance. We'll try to understand this sentence using this example. In this example, if you see, we have the EC2 instance. And let us say we have launched the or we have hosted the website on this EC2 instance. Now this is our user and he wants to open the website which is hosted on this EC2 instance. So his request will never go directly to EC2 instance. Okay. First, his request will go to the security group. Security group will check whether the HTTP is allowed or not, HTTP or HTTPS. If it is allowed, then only it will allow this user to access the website. Okay, so this is the use, and it is placed between the user and EC2 instance. All your requests will go to the security group. Okay, security group will check the request. If it is allowed, then only it will send the request to the EC2 instance. Very important point you need to remember. So if you see, we have already checked SSH, HTTPS, HTTP. If it is checked, then only it will allow whatever the request. Let us say if it is receiving the HTTP request, it will see. If it is checked, then only it will allow the HTTP request. If it is this user, if the user is sending the SSH request, okay, he wants to access this server. So again, he will see whether this request, this SSH is allowed or not. If it is allowed, then only he will allow the user to access this server remotely. Otherwise, it will block the request, will verify it. So this is how it works. How the security group works. Security groups allow the traffic that is defined in the rule. These are the rules. If a type of traffic isn't explicitly allowed, it is denied by default. If it is not allowed, which means it is denied by default. You need to remember this point. Now, what we are going to do, we will launch the EC2 instance again because I have already terminated the EC2 instance, and we will launch the website again. But this time, our focus will not be on the website, our focus will be on the firewall settings because our topic is security group. So our focus will be on security group. So what we are going to do now, we will create a new EC2 instance. We'll launch the new EC2 instance with again Amazon Linux operating system. So when it comes to this option, we are not going to check these options. Allow SSH traffic, allow HTTPS traffic, allow HTTP traffic. We will uncheck all these options. By unchecking all these options, we will run this command. We'll try to run. Okay, first we cannot access the server because the SSH is not allowed. So we'll check this option, then we will run these commands. Okay, then we'll try to access the website. So website will not be open because HTTPS is also not allowed. Then we will go to the security group and we'll allow the HTTP and HTTPS options as well. So in short, we are going to see how the firewall works, how to edit the firewall settings. Okay, by using the same lab. Okay, why we are using the same lab? To avoid any confusion. So let us launch the EC2 instance first. Okay, but this time we will not check any option. So we'll go to the console. I have logged into the console, and let us open EC2 from recently visited option. You can even search EC2 from the search box. Then we'll launch the instance. We'll provide the name. So let us provide any meaningful name like security group demo. Security group, or let us say my web server security group demo. My web server security group demo. Again, we'll select the Amazon Linux AWS, the operating system, and we'll select the T2.micro. Will not create any key pair. Then here, if you see, we have two options. Create security group. So this option is selected by default. It will create a new security. We already have some security groups, and it will create a new security group. And it will create the security group. And if you see, SSH is checked. So now what we are going to do? We will create the new security group. The security group name, it will automatically select launch wizard 3. And we have unchecked all the options, which means we cannot access the server, we cannot access the HTTP website also. Then later we will see how to allow, again, how to edit the security group or firewall. So we have unchecked all the three options. Remember this point. Then 8 GB storage and advanced option we will discuss later. It is very important, but we will discuss later. Right now we don't need this advanced option. So let me show you the options we have selected. We have provided the name. Then we have selected the Amazon Linux operating system. T2.micro is AMI, the instance type, sorry. And we have created the security group, and we have unchecked all we have not allowed any traffic. Then 8 GB hard disk. Then we will select this option, launch instance. So we'll not select the key pair. It is reminding you to create the key pair. So we don't need it now. We'll proceed without key pair. We'll launch the instance. So successfully initiated the launch. Let us go to the EC2 instance. And if you see, instance state, it is pending. And status check, it is initializing. It will take some time. Meantime, I will pause the recording. Okay, so status check 2 by 2 has passed. So 2 by 2 in the sense where it will check the hardware and virtual machine both. It will take 1 to 2 minutes. Now let us try to access, let us try to connect this web server. You will get the error. Okay. So we'll log in with EC2.user and we'll try to connect. SSH is not checked, so you can't access it. You cannot access the Linux operating system. Even within the AWS console, you cannot access it. So we have got the error. Failed to connect to your instance. So how to allow SSH now? So the instance is created and the firewall is also created. Now how to edit? Let us see the steps. So we'll go back to the instance. Let us close it to avoid any confusion. We'll go back to EC2 instance or the instance we have just created, and we need the security group to edit. So how to open the security group? You will go under security. Okay, remember this way. You need the security group, so you will go to security option. Under security option, if you remember, for our my web server security group demo EC2 instance, it has created launch wizard 3 security group, and it has attached the security group to our new EC2 instance. So we will select this option. It will open the security group. It has opened the security group. So now if you see, we don't have any security rules, no security rules found, which means everything will be denied. If the security groups are not created by default, it will deny everything. Now we need to allow SSH first. So we'll select this option, edit inbound rules. Edit inbound rules mean the rules which are coming to the EC2 instance. This is inbound rule. Any request is coming from outside to EC2 instance, or any request is received by EC2 instance, it is known as inbound rule. So we will add the rule. First, we will allow SSH traffic. So type SSH. And from which computer it should allow to access this EC2 instance remotely, anywhere. Okay, 0.0.0.0 means from anywhere. Then we will add the rule. Now SSH is allowed, we need to save the rule also. Okay, we need to save the rule. So these rules are immediately effective. Now let us access the EC2 instance again. So we have this instance running. We'll check this instance and we'll select this option connect. Again, we'll select connect. This time it should allow us to access the EC2 instance, the Linux operating system. Because now you can see it is allowing us to access the EC2 instance remotely because we have allowed SSH. Now we need to launch the website. So again, let me copy the commands. If you see, same commands, we'll copy and paste the commands one by one. So we can type it also. I'm just making it easy for you. Yum update, same commands. Yum update means it will update the Linux operating system, or it will add the patches, update all the patches. Yum update. Let us wait for a few seconds. Okay, so now you can see nothing to do. All the dependencies are resolved. It has updated the things. Then yum install HTTPD, which means install the Apache web server. Now if you see, it is asking your permission. Okay, is this okay? This size is okay, and you need to manually type yes. Remember this step, it is very important step for our next lab. So here you will type yes. It is installing the Apache web server. Then installing is not enough. We need to start the Apache web server using system-kata start HTTPD. Then starting is not enough. We need to enable the HTTPD. Then let us say, let us change the output this time. Security group demo. And again, we'll copy and paste the command. We already know the meaning of each and every command. If you don't know, no problem, just copy and paste the commands. That's it. Now we'll go back to EC2 instance and we need the public IP address. Okay. And what you will do, you will copy and paste this public IP address. It will take HTTPS. All right. If it is taking HTTPS, make it to HTTP. HTTP, then public IP address. It will not open. We have got the error. Okay. And why we are getting this error? Because HTTP is not allowed. Your firewall is blocking it. So again, we will allow HTTP. So let us open the firewall. Again, as I told you, you will go to the instance, check the instance. You will go to security. Under security, you will search for the firewall. Whatever the firewall, launch wizard 3 and edit inbound rules. And this time we will add HTTP. And you can access this website from anywhere. Then we'll save it. Again, the changes are immediately effective. Now we'll open the website. Now you can see we are getting the output security group demo. So this is how you will change the security group settings. So you can specify allow rules. So we need to remember some rules of security group. So we will discuss about this security group rules. So you can specify only allowed rules. By default, everything is denied. Okay, and you can specify only allow rules in security group. There is no deny rule. Then you can configure the separate rule for incoming and inbound or outbound traffic. So if you see under the security group, we have inbound rule option and outbound rule option. We have modified only the inbound rules because by default, everything is allowed under the outbound rule. Okay. And inbound rule, we have only changed. You can assign up to 5 security group to EC2 instance. So for on a particular EC2 instance, we can add 5 firewalls, 5 groups you can see, 5 security groups. All right, let me show you the outbound traffic. We have discussed only the inbound traffic. Let us see the outbound rule as well. So as I told you, everything is allowed under the outbound rule. Let me quickly show you. Again, we need to open the, okay, now you can see it is having the outbound rule also. We have modified only inbound rule because inbound rule is not completely open. Outbound rule is completely open. Let me show you. We have selected outbound rule, edit outbound rule, and you can see all the traffics are allowed. Outbound rule means traffic from EC2 instance. Okay, let us try to understand the difference between inbound traffic and outbound traffic. Outbound traffic means this is our EC2 instance. So all the traffic from EC2 instance to outside, it is allowed. Like EC2 instance can access the internet, it can ping the internet, it is allowed by default. But traffic from internet to EC2 instance, it is not allowed by default. We need to make the changes. Inbound traffic, we need to make the changes. Outbound traffic, it is allowed by default. Even you can delete it and you can specify your own rule for the outbound traffic. So let us cancel the outbound rule. So these are the rules of security group. You can add and delete the security rules to EC2 instance at any time. So like we have just seen, we have added and we have removed the rules, and we can delete the security group rules as well anytime. Okay, and the changes are immediately effective. Security groups are stateful. What is the meaning of stateful? Let us try to understand. So this security group, it is stateful. Stateful means, let us say we have this user one and we have allowed the HTTP traffic. Okay, for inbound rule. In inbound rule, we have allowed the HTTP traffic, and if the user one has initiated the request to open the website, now the request will go to the EC2 instance, and the same request, it is allowed for outbound as well automatically. So stateful means if the outgoing request is allowed, incoming response is allowed automatically. You don't need to create a separate rule. Okay, this is the meaning of stateful. Stateful, what is the opposite of stateful? Stateless. Okay, so what is the meaning of stateless? Stateless means you need to create the rule for both inbound and outbound traffic. Okay, let us say user one is sending the request for HTTP. You need to allow the HTTP traffic for inbound traffic and outbound traffic both. This is the meaning of stateless bus. It is not stateless. The security groups are stateful. Okay, if user one is allowed to, if the request is going to the EC2 instance, okay, and it will allow the outgoing request as well. This is the meaning of stateful. Remember this point. Now let us verify the outbound rule by pinging google.com from EC2 instance. Outbound, as I told you, any traffic is going out from the EC2 instance, it is known as outbound traffic. So we'll go to EC2 instance and we'll verify the outbound traffic. We'll ping google.com. So let us ping google.com. Google.com. We are getting the replies. Now let us see what will happen if we delete the outbound rule. As I told you, we can delete the rule at any time, and the changes are immediately effective. So let us go to outbound rule. We will delete the outbound rule, save rules. We'll go to instance. I cannot do anything. It got hanged. So what I need to do, let us, no, you can see I cannot do anything. All right. So what I will do, let us close it, and we'll open the EC2 instance in a new tab. Let us bring it here. The first tab is for EC2 instance. Second tab is for security group. We'll go to instance. We'll click connect. Connect. Now let us ping again. Ping www.google.com. Outbound security group or security rule is deleted and we are unable to ping. Okay. So if you delete the outbound traffic, the traffic will not go outside the EC2 instance. Now we are unable to ping google.com from EC2 instance. Now, what we will do, we will go to security group again. This is the security group, and let us make some changes here. And this time we will add only the ping request. It was allowed everything before. Let us add only the ping request. Let us add ICMP. Ping means ICMP. Okay, what is the protocol for ping? ICMP. And it can ping everything. We'll save the role. Now you can see it has started pinging. So this is how you can edit the outbound rule, but it is not recommended. But you can change the outbound rule also. So we need to remember some points about security group or firewall. If there is no security group rule configured for inbound and outbound both, by default, everything will be denied. No traffic is allowed in and out of EC2 instance. We can change the security group at runtime. Okay, the instance is running, we can change it. Okay, changes are immediately effective. You need to remember these points. So this is it. It was about the security groups.